use mine. Yeah. Welcome to the first meeting of the 2025 school year. I'd like to welcome our 3 new board members. And would you please join me in pledge allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Brad Doobie,
Present.
Katie Gogorchuk here, Olga Gorchak
Here.
Bonnie Holstein present, Chris Rabish,
Here.
Leah Rulo present, and Gary Yaros
Here. Great. All right. Tonight I will be chairing the meeting for the election of president. After this is completed, the president will then chair the rest of the meeting as normal. The vice president, secretary, and treasurer will then be elected. So a quick overview of the process is I will ask for nominations for the office of president. Trustees can nominate someone, and then I will ask again, are there any other nominations? So we'll make sure everyone that gets nominated is heard. So after there are no further nominations, I'll ask for a motion to close those nominations, which needs to be seconded. And then we'll have a voice vote for that. And then after that, we'll do a roll call vote for the president. And as soon as there is a majority, that is the president. And then I will pass the gavel over, and that person will continue on with the rest of the officers. So I will first ask for a nomination for the office of president.
Brad.
Brad Doobie. Are there any other nominations for president? Any other nominations? Hearing none, I will look for motion to close.
Motion to close.
And is there support?
Second.
Second, Mr. Ravish. All in favor of closing the nominations?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Okay, so that is closed. And at this time, we will have a roll call vote for Mr. Brad Doobie as president.
Gary Yaros,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Chris Rabish,
Yes.
Brad Doobie,
Abstain.
Katie Gogorchuk, yes, Olga Gorchak,
Yes.
Bonnie Holstein, yes, and Leah Rulo, yes.
All right.
That's 6-0.
6-0. Great. All right. I am now able to pass the gavel on. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. President.
We don't have to remake this one.
Nope. We'll keep that nameplate.
Okay, well, we can move on. This time I'll ask for nominations for the office of vice president.
Am I Chris Rabish?
Any other nominations for vice president? Nominations? Seeing none. Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Support.
Got a motion of support. I think we can do this.
Yeah, that's voice.
This voice. All those in favor of Chris Ravish being vice president?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Look at my list here. Through this. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if we.
Secretaries.
Okay. At this time, I'll ask for a nomination for the office of secretary. I will make the motion, Paul Gorchak for the office of secretary. Is there any other nominations for the office of secretary? Any other nominations? Closed.
So moved.
Motion closed. Okay, do I have a second for?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for Paul Gorchak for the office of secretary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so moved. Okay, now, any nomination for the office of For treasurer,
Nominate Gary Yaros.
we got a nomination for Gary Yaros. Any other nominations for treasurer? Any other nominations for treasurer?
Motion to close.
What's that?
Motion to close.
Yep. Okay. Motion to close. All those in favor of Gary Yaros for treasurer?
Aye.
Opposed? Moved. Okay. Jump in your seat.
We're good.
You're good. Two moves. Okay, for this time?
We're good.
You're just.
Okay.
Okay.
Make sure it's seated enough.
Yeah.
We'll give you these papers. That's the secretary.
Thanks for willing to do that, Paul. Coming in fresh. That's
If the notes don't look good, it's fine.
All right, well, we're gonna move right along. I think we have enough to get through. I'd like to thank the board for their support to keep me over here. Yeah, they didn't want to do it. And for all the Detroit football Lion fans, good one Lion up there. Let's see how we keep progressing, right? My team's out. My first. Okay, so any additions, deletions, changes to the agenda?
move to approve the agenda.
Motion? Support. Support. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Community comments on the agenda. Seeing none. Do the Spartan Spotlight, right?
I have the pleasure of Spark Spotlight today. Mr. Mulligan, wanna come on over? Today, the Spark Spotlight shines on Mr. Walter Mulligan. Walter is our Alternative Learning Center Coordinator and varsity football coach. He has also coached within our track program. During the day, Walter manages middle school and high school students in the ALC, the Alternative Learning Center, who were being disruptive in their class or received discipline for breaking school rules. Mr. Mulligan works hard at supporting and mentoring our students and works with them to improve their behavior and academics. He is always willing to help administrators and has also supported the ISD's emotionally impaired room next door. Walter is also working on earning his teaching certificate through the Talent Together program. Walter has been the Pinconning High School varsity football coach since 2020. The program lacked an identity when he started, and he has worked hard to improve the culture of what it means to be part of Pinconning football. Walter attends clinics and conferences around the state, as well as forming connections with college coaches to visit and bounce ideas off of. He has a strong connection with his student athletes and checks in on their academic and behavioral progress throughout the year. He spends time with the athletes in the off-season conditioning in the weight room and attending camps and 7-on-7 contests. He has also included all athletes in this conditioning throughout the summer, not just football players. Walter's first 3 seasons, we have 1 win. He was also able to successfully beat a difficult cancer diagnosis during that time. In the past 2 seasons, we have won 7 games, including a 5-win season this fall. This year, Walter was named the MLI Coach of the Year and was also named the Michigan High School Football Coaches Association Region 6 Coach of the Year. Our students and staff are appreciative and thankful to have Walter Mulligan part of the Spartan family. Anything to say? Good? You can say anything, something you want. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
You know, I tell people all the time, when I was hired here, I was a 27-year-old kid, and I've learned a lot about myself over these last 5 years, and I really love it here, and I think when I was first hired, it was a lot about being a football coach, and I found a passion for working with kids and helping kids, and I can honestly say, every day I come to work, I'm happy to take on the challenges in the behavior room, and I've been fortunate enough to build relationships with not only our students, but our administration, and it's definitely made me a better person and coach. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, non-consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda, pay bills totaling $1,406,622.37.
Motion and support. Any discussion? Roll call.
I'll, discussion. New board members, when you get the bills, feel free to call the front office. A lot of times you'll see there's a lot of questions there. If you want to have meetings with the budget committee beforehand to try and get familiar with what these accounts are, we could set something up. Or if you just want to look at the bills and contact those folks Friday before the meeting, that's fine as well. They can explain what the accounts are, and we want to make sure everybody understands what they're voting on. You know, that's the way we can make sure we're moving forward in the right direction.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah. Normally.
Right, can I just go right in order of the way this?
Normally, the person who made the motion first, support second, and then random.
Okay.
Okay.
So, we're ready for the vote now?
Yep.
Okay. Yes. And fine then?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Say that.
Dave?
Yes.
No, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I can't remember. Chris?
And Chris?
Yes.
And Brett?
Yes.
So 7-0.
You have to.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, now on to communication, and call check.
Thank you, President Doobie. First, wanted to take a moment to thank our board members for their time and support. January is Board Member Appreciation Month. Pinconning Area School District is lucky to have a group connected to our community who understands our needs. From the students, staff, administration, parents, and community, we all would like to say thank you, and obviously a small token of our appreciation, but there's a lot more meaning behind it, and we really appreciate all you do. There's a lot of time and tough decisions that have to be made, so we do appreciate it. Thank you. Facility ranking plan, I think I'll call it that. We've talked about the update from Hendrick that they gave us, that we did some ranking on the facilities that we think may need updates. So now that the holidays are over, we're gonna have some meetings with staff, community members, and also look at ideas and thoughts of what we wanna do with our facilities. So I just wanted to let you know that that will be coming up in the near future, that we'll start asking where we wanna go, what we wanna do with our bond, because we know that we've got a few years left on that bond, and we have some needs that we would like to look at extending it and supporting some of the needs within our district. So that's coming up. The tower decision, we did have a site committee that recommended we spend the estimated $10,000 to tear down the tower that we are no longer using. So that's probably something that I think we would put it in the next board meeting. There's no rush on that, but at least so that you would know, we can have it on the consent or non-consent if there needs to be discussion. But the big thing is we could keep it up and maybe try selling some parts to it, but the company that helped us, they get a portion of that already that they can already sell. And we're on the hook for the approximately $1,000 a year to have it inspected and upkeep. So that's why the site committee had thought, let's just tear it down and we don't have to pay that for the rest of its life. So that decision, we'll put that on the next board meeting to have you discuss that and discuss what we're gonna do. Yes.
I did see the site committee notes, but was it an option for them to put it out for bids to sell it as is, to have it removed? Was that an option to have some company come in and salvage it, so it didn't cost us anything, but
Is Jay here?
Yeah,
Okay.
Was that an option that
I don't know, I mean,
was considered? It adds value, doesn't it?
the $10,000 was from a company in Traverse City. It was one of the only ones I could find, but I've since learned about a company in Mount Pleasant that might do it, so if you want me to, I'll reach out to them like tomorrow. I don't know if, I don't really know what the salvage value is. I think a lot of the cost is the fact that they have to bring in a crane to bring it down because it's like 120 feet high. So, I'm not
Is it
sure
aluminum?
the salvage value would offset that cost.
And you mean sell it to keep it up, right?
No.
Oh, you meant to take it
I
down.
meant
Okay.
put it out for bids for people to be able to buy it and remove it.
Oh, we can try. We've got time.
You could do that too, but
Yeah.
I just know that the company from Traverse City indicated that they would probably need to rent a
They
crane.
feel it didn't have enough value to warrant
And
it.
if somebody around here owns a crane.
They can have it.
Right.
Yeah, let's look into it. That's a good idea.
So, you just let me know,
If you put
and I
it,
can work with Andy.
Yeah. Okay, got it. We had a discussion previously about the Mount Forest sign at the new path for our cross country, and that's also available for community members. And on that sign, we are going to have up, we'll get that up in the spring, that talks about pets and cleaning up and no motor vehicles and the things that we had discussed at that time. So we do plan on putting a sign up there. I mentioned previously that we had a grant, a very large grant, to create the emergency maps through the CRG program, and I was a little frustrated because I learned that the emergency responders did not have access to use it. That has been changed. They now will have it. Our emergency response team from Bay County, they have somehow purchased it, and he said that everyone will have that access. So I was happy to hear that. And I did talk to a couple of our fire department crew from the township, and they said they already have it. So it's spreading out, so that makes us a little happy that we spent that money on that, and now that will be able to be used. Website is being updated as we speak. We are going through meetings every other week. Lydia, Jay, and myself are meeting with the company, with the Apogee company, kind of doing some design, a lot of data input that Jay's doing, a little bit of training along the way. And what they wanted was to have this small group to kind of go through it, and if we have questions, we can answer it. And then once we're done, then we'll have a larger group of the users, the principals, maybe secretaries who may be using that. But it's going along pretty well. It's pretty cool seeing the things that are going to happen with our website and our app. We're excited. And then staff updates. It's always sad to see staff leave as we have accepted Bridget Moore's retirement. We still have Ms. Moore for another semester, and we'll make sure to honor her at the end of the year. And in the same regard, we get a new one, and we're also excited to welcome in Ms. Amanda Cooley to the Spartan family. Ms. Cooley will hopefully have 2 weeks with Ms. Dysowitz before her last day. I know that was important to the board, and we did that enough time where that should be able to happen. I say should because I don't know if something unforeseen that I don't have control over, but hopefully she's in the couple weeks before Ms. Dysowitz's last day. That's it. Any questions for me? Okay.
Getting that group that came in when I came in.
Yeah. Yep. And I also, I have the Spartan Spotlight information, which is next. Our student wasn't able to be here today. So I do have here it is. The Spartan, not Spartan Spotlight, report, student representative report, yeah. Student Council Coming Home 2025, the members are busy preparing for Coming Home, which is the week of January 27th, so not too far away. Featured events will include the daily dress-up themes, penny war, boat building, pep assembly, and crowning of the Coming Home royalty and the dance. Winter Blood Drive will take place on January 21st from 8 until 1:30. Community members are invited to donate and can register on the Versity, is that how you say that? Versity website. That's where the blood bank is from. Or contact the student council advisor, Mr. Stonebeck. For band, we have All-Star Band, 4 students from Pinconning auditioned. in the District 9 All-Star Band. Students accepted into that will travel to Alpena on January 17th, where they will rehearse and perform with other student musicians from across mid-Michigan. Trinity Briggs, Mariah Harrow, and Ava Sogalski were accepted into the ensemble. Sadie Ernst also received an honorable mention and is the first choice alternate if someone is not able to come. And the winter band concert was yesterday at 4 o'clock in the middle school gym. We had it yesterday due to weather prior to the holiday break, and so they moved that. The school was excited to offer our talented musicians an opportunity to showcase their talents. Despite, we had inclement weather again yesterday, so it was a little slippery yesterday, but it was a full gym, so it was great to see that. Semester 1 ended, and we had final exams this past week. Thursday and Friday were the exams, and today was a work day for the teachers, and we start the new semester tomorrow. And then Ski and Snowboard Club was on here. Was Dr. Brown, were you going to talk about that a little bit? Okay, so that was on here. I know Dr. Brown will talk about that a little bit, but going through some yearbooks, we did have that within the last 10 years. We had this Ski and Snowboard Club, which is a great way to get some students involved in activities, getting them outside to do some things with no competition, just a fun way to go. So Dr. Brown will talk about that a little bit more. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Jeremy? Where's Jeremy at? Oh, Jeremy over here.
Alright, so I think we got Linwood under control.
Eating wise, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yell at me. High school, middle school seems to be pretty good, a couple little hiccups. Central's a bit of a mess. The east end, we basically have 2 heaters in each room. Radiant heater along the wall, nothing's controlling them, they're wide open. Nothing, you have them under control now, we got a couple rooms up to like 80 degrees. Then there's the univent heaters under the windows. So the radiant heaters are out of control. Univent heaters are running all the time trying to cool the radiant heaters. So we got the radiant heaters shut down, we've experimented with a couple valves. We'd like to put valves on most of them, but about 10 rooms, about 250. The univents,
Steam?
them are steam on the east end, yes. West end is central's hot water. The univents on the east end not work really well. The controls are, Johnson Wood kind of gave us a quote, he said between 15 and 1800 we can eliminate all the controls in there, just put a thermostat on the wall, that will control. I'd like to experiment with one of them before winter's done, see how it works, if it's something that works good. So that may be difficult, but that's not.
Was that 1,500 per room or for all of them?
You said between 15 and 1800 per room.
Per room, okay.
That's with us running the conduit and wire. It's like,
It's all steam.
that's all steam down there.
And that way, would you say 6 rooms?
There's 10 total.
10 down there?
10 total.
Does that include the circle?
And Jeremy, you said those control valves, would that take care of the other unit?
So
You said there's control valve on each one, you'd like to change them all, but,
on the radiant, we'd like to put like a new valve,
okay,
like a knob. Did 2 of them and we're good.
okay.
Some of them I have C-clamped off, shut the heat down. So they're not there heat. Well, the univents, the controls they have in there, that was okay. Argument a few years ago about solved about whatever. The controls in there are really kind of complicated. And they're hard, they're not user friendly. So we can get rid of all that, and just put a thermostat, make it really easy for everybody. Like save a lot of money. Everything wrong. The west end, none of the heaters work. None of the fans and the heaters work. I started looking into them, they're all 4 apart. torn apart. So we basically have a $10,000 heater with a $100 Walmart heater on top.
Yeah.
Low breakers. So this week I kind of experimented with a couple of rooms just to get the fan running because the hot water still going through it.
Right.
But nothing blowing it. So I was able to hook it up safely. You know, I have a fuse to everything that's in there. I have it to the switch in the try it this week, but the controls is what controls the speed, so it's all gonna be on high.
Right.
So he's probably gonna have to turn the fan on and hot, but we still have heat on it.
Mm-hmm.
Not using now.
Was outside consultants used on that side too? Use somebody locally on that?
I think it was Reader had the contract. I don't know if they form apart, but they're missing, there's parts missing. What I'd like to do down there is talk to Johnson, Lloyd, Wood said we'll go through them, probably go wrong to every one of them. And then you can fix, you know, if you need a transformer, $200, we'll throw a transformer in that. You have to have a laptop, hook up to stuff, we can't really diagnose them. So I'd like to pay them a day or two's wage to tell us what's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll see if we can fix it, if we can. I think we gotta get the heat.
Yeah.
We gotta get the heat.
That company is really easy to work with, they came to Linwood.
Yeah, they're good guys,
They're
you know,
really,
I'm
really good at having the building while the kids are in there.
I'm reading down the net like this while they're
Yeah.
He's
I
learning.
don't have no problem. I'm an anti guy, I want to do everything you can do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're considered like some stuff. but I
Right.
have to be. I want to do.
You got your heat. Let's not roasting them out, the windows aren't open.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've
Saving money.
done different things like water trading, automatic water trading on compressors, water out there, stuff. That was, and the air pressure.
Okay.
Taking a lot of diaphragm. I think it's done pretty good.
Yeah.
Good.
Something that we can just have him get with you.
Yeah, we've been
I
talking
mean,
maybe.
we don't have to come back.
No, unless it's over that
Yeah.
amount, we would have to, but for now, no, we're good.
You just go by room by room.
Yeah.
So instead of just maybe one guy waiting for a day or two, $1,000, $5,000 bucks a day. He just charges his wait for 11 days.
Good. Yeah, we gotta get that fixed up.
Yep.
All right, any other questions for
Yeah, I
Jeremy?
was just curious, I haven't heard about the bus barn line. How's that building holding up over there? Good. I need to stop by and see it. Yeah.
Parking lot, beautiful.
How's the heat in there?
Lots of heat.
That's the whole building, that's the oldest building. That's the whole building.
Yeah, that needs up very well. And then the summer too. And then the vegetables, fall.
Yeah.
And you did about a month ago. I did get up there at 10 o'clock. It seemed it was trapped. I think that was this year.
Is it TPO or rubber up there? Is it metal roof or?
No, it's, this is white.
The Duralast roof.
Duralast,
I think we have, yes.
PVC.
Yep.
Okay. Did it seem let loose on the PVC? On the-
It don't look like that.
Okay.
but It may be on the side. but I kind of figured-
Right, yeah, right now is not a good time, but.
But I think that maybe we're left. You guys ever see any of these email?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that too, like if I see something, so if I can email you directly.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
I love the work.
Yeah, I talked to Scott and Bob, they said really good things about you.
Yeah.
They did.
They're all working pretty good.
Does the roof? We get it taken care of where?
We had a leak in the drafting room,
Yeah.
beginning of the year. We haven't heard anything lately. I mean, there hasn't been rain,
Right.
so
Well, I did find, like, where it was leaking, the drip edge kind of overlaps, kind of right where it's leaking. So I popped that drip edge. If you haven't got a whole lot of rain since I did that, but it would be. I don't know if I have a fix.
We'll keep looking.
Well,
He knows a little about.
Yeah, if you need any contact advice or materials for roofing, let me know.
okay,
That's great.
Take care of it.
and I like stuff that's very slippery when
Yeah.
but that's good to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, on to
Other administrators, I think.
other administrators. Yeah, we don't, oh, you don't have it on there. All right.
I'll go, because half this audience is here for middle school happiness. Charter. Middle school first. So we're finishing up our November Middle School Students of the Month. This is Trevor Kelly. He was nominated as the November 6th grade Student of the Month. He was nominated by Mr. Pitts, and Mr. Pitts says that he works hard, he's very polite, eager to help others, and stays very positive when things are tough. He's an amazing student. We're so lucky to have that building crew. And he's supported by his father tonight, Jordan Kelly. Thanks, Trent.
Yeah.
And I think he means it's true that he's very positive.
Yes.
That's why I mean, he is an awesome student. I think he knows that. But Alex, you want to come over? Come on over. You guys have been waiting very patiently. So we're going to move on now to December's Student of the Month. And so this is Alex Hauck. This is our 7th grade December nomination. And he was nominated by Mr. Frank. And Mr. Frank has quite a bit to say about Alex. He says, Alex has made tremendous progress this semester. He goes at things with a positive attitude. He does his best to try to lift his classmates up and always tries his best when faced with a difficult task. So thank you, Alex, for being here and being awesome too. And he's supported by his parents, Dwayne and Jamie Hauck. Come over. So while Chloe's walking up, our other December Student of the Month is our 6th grader, Charlie Giroux, who her sister was nominated last month as the 8th grade Student of the Month and the overall Student of the Month. And they couldn't be here tonight because of a cheer competition practice or something. And so Charlie's the 6th grade Student of the Month nomination by Mr. King. And he said that she has great work ethic in middle school woodworking. And so this is Chloe San Miguel, and she has been nominated by Mr. Palmaville as the 8th grade December Student of the Month and also the overall middle school winner. And he said Miss San Miguel is always pleasant and polite in class, and she's supported by her mom, Sonia San Miguel. So thank you so much for being here and being awesome. The other thing I just wanted to touch on was I had the privilege of going on Saturday down to Northville, Michigan, right outside of Novi for the MASSP Middle School Innovative Teaching and Learning Summit, which focused mostly on AI and specifically with middle school. A lot of it was applicable K-12, but they did a really nice job of trying to hone in on that middle level. I just wanted to start with a quote by Will Richardson, which one of the, I think the superintendent is the one that shared this, but he said, schools as we know them were created for a time that no longer exists. And we're kind of entering that as AI is blowing up pretty big, just in the 2 years that it's kind of existed. Some of my takeaways, the superintendent started with a panel of middle school students. He prompted them with a few questions, sort of in that restorative circle practice, just asking how they used AI in their learning. It was actually really amazing to kind of open that way for kids who have been using it in a practical way. We were able to tour the whole middle school. We were able to see some of the classrooms that are considered modern under the Modern Classroom Project, which is an innovative research-based instructional model. It's actually very Montessori-based, which is my background, but students progress through the material at their own pace. They focus on mastery of concepts through self-paced learning, and they utilize technology for video instruction, and the teacher acts as facilitator rather than a traditional lecture. It was very interesting. Struck a chord with me big time. AI in the classroom, we did a breakout session in an ELA classroom, middle school classroom. He has been working with Michigan State University in developing sort of a pilot, like AI philosophy, rationale, procedures for a classroom, which is going to be really important as we get implement this in public school. He goes through a red, yellow, green, and blue, like kind of how you can approach AI with assignments and assessments. The red would be like strictly forbidden. Yellow would be that they are allowed to use AI to generate maybe like the first draft. Green would be they can create a first draft on their own without AI, but they can use AI to edit, revise, expand, and improve their human-generated pieces. And then blue would be students have the option to use a green approach on assessments and assignments. Some of the tools that, this was another thing he talked about, and I don't know how we haven't thought about this, but we use works cited in ELA, right? And so he extended that into adding tools used, because we're kind of like not really sure how we can cite AI. So he talked about that as well. So basically students just have to have an extension of that works cited where they make a citation of each and every type of AI used. He talked about even listing spell check, Grammarly, and then any of the other AI tools that students have access to now. It was very helpful to distinguish between what open AI systems and closed AI systems are. Just real brief, open AI systems, basically the information is accessible to the public, can be used by the public. A closed AI system, which is what a school district would obviously be it would be important for us to use that system. So that the inner workings are actually protected and kept private, focuses on data protection. Examples of closed systems would be Snorkel, Magic School, Grist, which is a Chrome extension, which Mr. Palchik had touched on in his communication today. School AI and DIPIT. So those are pretty widely used. That district in particular uses all of those. Practical uses for AI right now in schools, preparing lesson plans, restorative practices. You can, for instance, I have a student that made a poor choice, walks into my office. I can feed AI with a social story, ask them to create a social story based on whatever that behavior was. It'll pump it out within 3 seconds. I can pump that back into AI and say, create some Google Slides. And within 1 minute, I'll have a whole series of Google Slides, pictures, and everything else that a student can kind of go through for restorative practice. Email responses, slideshow creation, assisting with teacher evaluations, podcast creation, data analysis, editing feedback. We're truly limited by our ability to have time to experiment with it and our prompts. Like that's pretty much the most important part of that. Aaron Bowman was there. He's now an AI strategist with Michigan Virtual. He developed a hierarchy when considering the use of AI. The top concern is that it must make teachers' lives better. In the middle, allowing learning to be more innovative and engaging. And then lastly, to maintain the uniquely human element of our students. So that's kind of takeaways that I had. Thank you.
So I'll talk about our students as a month. High school a little bit different because they're involved in all of the things, which is awesome. So this month, our freshman student of the month is Willow Davis, and she was nominated by Mrs. Corky, our band director. She says Willow is one of those students that's always doing the right thing. She's consistently prepared for class and works to better herself constantly. She has grown tremendously as a trumpet player in the last 2 years, and that is thanks to her work ethic and dedication to band. She's just a stellar student all around. Our 10th grader is Will Zielinski, and he was nominated by Ms. Wright. She said Will is an absolutely awesome student. He's always doing the best at his work and is always willing to help his classmates on their work. And Will is always smiling, laughing with his friends, and he has the best personality. Our junior is Gabriella Evans, and she was nominated by Mrs. Holmes. And Gabriella deserves to be recognized. She is always on task, and her work consistently demonstrates her high expectations she sets for herself. Her work is outstanding, but more importantly, she is a joy to be around for her kindness and upbeat personality. And our senior is Callie Carson, and she was nominated by Christy Rose. And Callie is a hard worker and has a great attitude and a delight to have in class. And they also asked her mom, because Callie just had hip surgery, was out of school for a little while, and she says that she's just doing great at her work while she's at home recovering from surgery. My kid has been through a lot of surgery in the last few years, and she's just a stellar kiddo. And our overall high school winner this month is Will Zielinski. So it's nice to be able to celebrate our students. Just a little thing, we talked about final exams being last week. Students have done a really good job, and tomorrow will be our makeup date for both high school and middle school, and that way all our students can get their grades in. And our counseling office can maybe breathe a little bit after this week. They are working their tails off right now, always end of the semester, getting scheduling started, grades in, all of the things. That does bring me just to a quick, we are looking at redoing a little bit of our report card format. And our counseling office has been really looking at just how we can see kind of a bigger snapshot for parents just to see the comments, the overall through the marking period of all of them. And so they're just looking at different samples right now. Counseling secretary brought me one today. Just shows, again, all of the courses in there, term 1 through all the way through 4, the semester overall, the exams, and the absences on there. And then at the bottom, just kind of gives their attendance totals, GPAs, kind of just a really big snapshot. So we're going to be looking at that. They would like to get that done by the end of this semester. It's an easier program because everything's being printed off in black and white. So really, there's not a whole lot of graphics that has to go with it. But if they don't, then we will just work on doing that for the end of the semester. All right. With that, we have been working diligently in our graduation date. This has been floating around because I know some of our sports conflicts on that May 16th would be track regionals, and that whole week I know we're hosting baseball and softball. That time of year is always crazy. So previously or currently, May 16th is a Friday, and that was our proposed date. But we are looking at moving this to Sunday, May 18th. I know we went back and looked, and I believe around 2014 we were still doing graduations on Sunday afternoons. And that time was at 1:30, and I think we were looking at either 1:30 or 2 o'clock. We haven't pinned down the exact time. I know we will want to do that very quickly, so Johnston's can have all of that, and we can send out, parents can send out invitations, we can send out all of our things for that as well. So right now we're proposing that May 18th is a Sunday at 1:30 that we will hold graduation. And hopefully that will be no conflicts, family will already be in town, and hopefully it will be a really sunny day out at our stadium. We're just gonna throw that out there now. So that's what we are looking at. We'll have that. I know I talked to the union, a lot of different parents and teachers just to see kind of if there be any conflicts. And they actually really like going back to that date on the weekend. Before Memorial Day weekend, so really hoping that works.
And the reason there was the conflict is the track regionals is a window from the 16th to the 18th or something Thursday, and we don't know when. And we originally had graduation scheduled in there, and it could be at the same time where we would have seniors trying to get to states, and they'd have to choose. So that's why they decided let's find a date where there's no possibility of having a conflict, because if one senior had to miss either one, would be bad. So we're looking at next year's calendar, we will avoid this, and if we want to go back to a Thursday or Friday, it won't be this week. So.
Yeah, the problem is with MHSA is we won't know until, I mean, possibly middle of February, an actual date of when our kids will be traveling. I know last year they traveled over 3 hours to Tuskegee to do this. So even getting them back and forth is just not ideal. So hopefully this works better. All right, recently, just too recently, Monday, January 6th, I sent out a memo regarding a potential threat in our building. We worked with some amazing people, and this was a non-threat. It was taken care of within a matter of minutes. It was not credible at all. However, it was taken care of immediately. I did send out a memo so that way everyone had the information, knowing that things were taken care of. So just thanking all of my staff for that. I also want to thank Deputy Matt Campo for all of the work he does with us, not just on incidences like that, but just being visible with our students every day. he's out in the hallways and at lunchtime interacting with kids, and he's just, I know we feel lost when he's not here, and so having him here is just, it's so wonderful to have his presence here. So I can't speak of his praises enough. And I think the last thing I have is our ski and snowboard club. So Mr. Ryan Cooley is on our boosters and a parent of many of our students, and he brought this to me probably a month ago about starting a ski and snowboard club. And this winter, we're super fortunate that we have great weather out there to go play in. And so getting this for the kiddos who are not necessarily involved in a sport right now that would conflict, but would want to go do things outside. So this would be held starting on Wednesday for 6 weeks in January, actually through parts of February as well, at Snow, I can't even say the Snow Snake Ski and Golf. Unfortunate. And so we would have to have a minimum of 20 to make it worth it. But Snow State kind of cut us a break of getting kids lessons if they needed them, equipment rentals, waivers, all the things. And so I put a bunch of that information out in Facebook land, send that out to students and parents as well so they can get signed up and send money in, and then for transportation. So that's kind of where we're at. I think we're at 10 kids right now for this week, and so we will probably have to cancel this week. I think the more word gets around, we'll be planning definitely on next week, the 22nd. Winter's such a busy season with sports, and it's great to have kids involved, but also limits what we can do, so we're just trying to get one of those, just another activity for the kids to be involved.
Is this a possible, like, sport that could come in the future, or is it just gonna stay as a
I
club?
don't know about that. I mean, right now, if we can have the interest, that's a great place to start. I know a lot of our other sports have started like that, so.
Okay.
Sky's the limit. That's kind of my philosophy.
There is high school ski races.
They do it right there at Snow Snake. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
It says $45 equals year rental, lift ticket, bus ride.
Yep.
And it says $25 if rental is not needed, so it's basically $20 to rent it. Is that what I'm reading that? If you already have your own skis, you only have to pay $25. Yeah, okay, that's a great deal.
Yeah, that's why they said a minimum of 20, but they provide all the things there for.
Is that a district bus?
So, yeah.
And that's we get some of that money goes towards the transportation costs.
Yeah.
So.
Try to kind of equal it all out so it made it worth it, but at the same time, it was kind of user friendly for
Can we reach out to St. Mike's on this? What age is this?
Right now,
To get
for
more
high
high
school,
school.
we haven't talked about opening it up to middle school, especially just for numbers. I actually ran into, we have a lot of siblings of middle schoolers and high school, and so I think we'll probably end up opening it up for that, as long as we have chaperones for it.
Thanks.
John?
Just wanted to share a quick athletic update for you guys. With our winter sports, boys basketball, current record is 8-1. They just had a tough loss against Meridian, 52-53 on Friday night. So, tough one for sure. Girls basketball is at 1-7 right now, and they got their first win against Whitmore, score 47-31. So I've been to a lot of those games, and they're definitely on the right track. So it's exciting to see what Coach Pitts is doing with them too right now. I was also fortunate enough to go to my first bowling meet, which we hosted for the boys, which was really cool, honestly, and the atmosphere was great. Because I think the area is so small, there's people that bring these high chairs specifically to watch bowling and back. So cool atmosphere. The boys right now are 2-2 right now. They have a team average of 821.9 points. Our girls bowling is 5-3 right now in conference with an average of 578.2 points. And then wrestling is 2-1-1 in conference play. And then I was just told this weekend we took third place with 3 of our wrestlers going 5-0, which is awesome. And then we have 3 wrestlers that are very close to breaking 100 win mark. So one of them is Maverick Rivard, Alan Whiting, and Isaiah Hoffman. And Maverick Rivard's at 96, the other 2 at 90. So it's exciting stuff coming up for sure for them. And yeah, middle school just kind of wrapped up their tryouts, and we're set with, I think we got a lot of numbers for both teams, so it's looking good.
Anything, Jay? Okay. As far as our board committees, extracurricular map, we met with the Booster Club, former member, Booster. Well, I'm just gonna go through a couple of, just quickly, they had,
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
there were enough issues, yes, thank you, congrats, guys. Issues, and I think, you know, it was positive enough, we went through and, we're able to come up with solutions that we can work through. Some of them were with mail, and mail coming here to school, and, you know, whether the school can open it. Well, if it comes to the school, we gotta know where it's going, if it, specifically if it's not, you know, addressed to a person. Donations and what the board act, or what the booster still would own, if it's hung in the building, if it's still theirs, or if it's belongs to school once it comes in. And we just come up with some ideas that they, you know, a lot of people don't know what the boosters are donating or what they're giving money to, so if they come to, well, we have reps now. If they come and they can, you know, let the community know what they've been spending money on and things like that, so.
Can I just put in that also, to do Spartans, what do you call it?
Meet Spartans.
Meet the
Oh,
Spartans.
yeah.
I think that was a big thing for the boosters to be able to have communication with the community, so that was agreed that that would start again instead of not doing it, so.
Right, when I coached, I know we did it for all the sports, they came through and,
It was really beneficial
got
for
back to you.
parents.
Sorry?
well, meet the Spartans and doing that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah, I was in that meeting too, and I
Yeah.
heard that. I think it's a great idea, to be honest too,
Yeah.
so. Yep, I'm totally
We
for
probably
it.
haven't done it since.
I have not done it yet, so it'll be my first time,
Go away
but,
because
yeah,
of
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
No, it went away 2 years ago, I think.
Since
and
we
it's-
switched ADs.
It was tough scheduling. I think coaches had tough times scheduling it, taking,
Yes,
I mean, we were literally coming off the football field to come in for Meet the
Mhm.
Spartans.
right.
It got a little bit redundant over, you know, the 3 seasons.
Way too long.
So I think it could be tweaked a little bit, but
Yeah.
Like
overall,
every other you're thinking or something?
I
No,
don't know.
like, I had to go to 3 different meetings with the coaches as a parent, and that was
It's-
horrible for me. So it was just too much of a slideshow presentation for the
Sure.
school.
instead of Meet the Spartans is all at once, but
Sure.
I know we could tweak it a little
Yeah.
bit. But it is a good event, and the community came too, a lot of
Right.
community came.
Yep.
So it is a good event, we just gotta figure it out maybe a little bit better with scheduling.
Yeah, we're gonna coaches too and stuff, make sure that they're.
Yeah.
With them too, so yeah, yep.
What else did we have there? Banners. that they hang. Fundraisers. All
That was the fundraiser was kind of a big one, was just making sure that we don't have
Yeah,
competition selling the same things at the same time. But that's an administrative thing. They've always approved fundraisers, and they'll make sure that there is no competition. But you know, there were some examples of you can sell caramel apples at a football game because there's no, that they're not selling at the concession, or different things before, but we do not want competition.
That's been an issue since the beginning of time.
It wasn't really an issue.
right.
It's,
Because we do have
It's just
forms
clarified.
and there's policies where before you do fundraising, you have to fill out a form. Right?
Yeah.
It has to go through
then they
their
approve.
offices and then they approve it. So they
And
can make
they-
sure there's not conflicts.
We don't want 2 classrooms selling wrapping paper at the same time before Christmas. You know, so that the process is there. We'll make sure to follow it. Yep.
And the last was, different groups using the areas, you know, like concession stand and things like that. We came up with the idea that the procedures, they, you know,
Making
sign
sure they're
check
clean.
things off
Yep.
and whether we had to have, you know, if we had a custodian or maintenance go in there and charge back to the group if they had to take care of. I think that's what we're.
Mhm.
No
Yep.
reason that the next group, had to come in and fix what somebody else messed up, so.
So the actual responsibility for the concession stand falls on maintenance, not on the boosters, right? They're using our concession stand, so Jeremy's folks are the people that would go in and inspect it to say this is.
If there was a problem,
If there was, yeah.
you know, if
Yeah.
group A made a mess, group B comes in and it's
Checking out
messy,
another,
right,
that is checking another.
then we may have to charge group A to have maintenance come in and clean up what they could have cleaned up themselves, so.
But machines are owned by the boosters versus the
Right.
school. So like machines are maintained by boosters, whereas the facilities are owned by
Yeah.
the school.
Should be okay.
I think we're okay.
I don't think we have any problems in that area.
That was it. There was no other there, so non-consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the first reading of the curriculum guide for 25-26. Support.
Motion support, any discussion?
See, we added theater, we have a teacher doing that. We have a new teacher for theater.
Theater that was added.
Theater that's added.
We were wondering the same thing.
Theater added.
It's going to be an option. We have 2 of our new teachers are certified to teach that, and so that's going to be an option as well as moving forward.
I was wondering with, Mrs. Holmes retiring and all the arts is still, is there anyone in line for that?
We're looking at that, actually trying to get really creative with that to expand the program. So I'm having a lot of conversation the last 4 weeks. So I'm excited to see the trajectory.
It's neat when one door closes, another one opens.
We have a lot of talented students, so we're really trying to tap into the ones, especially that are just getting the cracks.
Cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Any other?
The theater's not, has anything to do with drama at all. It's the drama program we already have in place.
It could,
It could.
yeah. Yeah, they're excited to get, we won't necessarily have for this semester.
This is next year we're talking about.
Yeah, but I know those teachers have already been approached to help with some of the drama productions because they have pretty extensive background, from where they came from. Tapping into that would be positive for our people.
So once you have a chorus, which has been in there. But Mr. Bear used to do that years ago, and it's never been since he retired. So are you putting a push towards that with just Quirky in mind, or?
We haven't had a lot of, we haven't had maybe one kid that ever inquired about that in the last couple of years, so that becomes something that kids are.
You're just leaving it in there to see?
Because I noticed there was a few classes that you don't really offer because there's not enough interest. So you just leave it there for the students.
Yeah, we keep it in there, and then future, that is an option, and it's talked about, especially in some of those specialized departments, and then kids really see kind of a need for that, or we can take that class and maybe tweak it to be something a little bit different. We'll definitely, we would use it, kind of use that structure, and we know that it is, you know, those credits we run at the state as well.
And do parents, get any say in how the classes are structured, like the scheduling and all?
For their own student, when they individually go through that schedule, kind of those picking, I know our counselor was really extensive at going in each of the classrooms about the next month or so for that schedule. And then the kids will take that home with some of those class descriptions with them.
So parents don't sign off on the schedule? or-
Yeah, they usually do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kids are not completely left up to their own devices.
Yeah.
Is robotics being removed because of lack of interest? Or lack of instruction?
I don't know. That's a good question. I know we offer it as a club after school.
Right, that's what I wondered, if this is a repetitive. When we added that, I thought that'd have a lot of interest, but it has.
I know drafting this year has been huge, our ever. That they've been really involved in that. We've used every single computer, and actually could use more, but the number we have now is perfect.
Yeah, I thought that was fine that we were gonna remove that.
Is that the same with the CNC management and giving the students the opportunity to be managers of those classes if there's no interest?
They kind of have more of that into, I know that Mr. Raines was really great about it, giving kids kind of those jobs within class. Mr. King being granted this year, that phenomenal job with that as well. So they've kind of taken some of those and lumped them together, which has been really nice. Great.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Need a roll call?
Yep, you got a motion and support? Yeah, yep, so, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Oh, ski and snowboard, the winter club.
I move to approve the ski and snowboard winter club as presented.
Support. Motion and support, any discussion? Through? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Yep, public comments. Do you have any public comments? Okay.
Gary?
None.
Going back to the suggestion about the tower, when I was the city of Midland, we had over 100-foot tower, and same thing, we were looking at $10,000 to get it removed. We put it out for bid. We had, the winning bid was $1, but it saved us $10,000.
Yep.
And we required the certificate of liability insurance and everything, and they brought in a crane and laid it down on a Saturday or a Sunday and took it away, because they wanted the tower.
Yeah.
So, yeah, excellent idea.
Thank you.
Let's put a windmill on it. There you go. All right, any other? Anybody? Okay, that would conclude our business, other than we have a closed session. For the student. Motion. Go to closed session.
Should we go to closed session?
Support.
Motion support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I know, I see you're, you can. Yeah, yeah.